Welcome to week 2, pillar 2 of igniting your soulful business, your messages. Your messages are such an important place to start because it just offers that window into your purpose. And it just really weaves so many things together. So starting with your messages is very, very important. So let me go through a little bit more with you. Your message is something that says, I believe that others can, or I believe that this is possible for you. A message is something that you want to post on a billboard. It's something that you want to tell and shout out to the world. This is what I believe. You know, I remember when Oprah used to say, what is it that you know for sure? And she always would end her interviews with that. And it was a beautiful window, as I said earlier, into the soul of who she was interviewing, because they would explain whatever it was that they knew for sure. And guess where that came from? It came from their story. It came from their life experiences. It came from something that they had overcome or had done that allowed them to believe in this message so wholeheartedly. Your message tells us your passion, your story, and it tells us your mission, your mission. So I'm going to give you a little example about myself and my messages. One of my messages, I have a lot of them. One of my messages is that if you are living your purpose, you can stand out, you can attract your dream clients, and you can build a business that you love, a soulful business that you love, that is successful and that is integrated with your passions, your purpose, and your life. I believe that wholeheartedly. And the reason that I know that has to do with my story. It has to do with where I am at in my life right now. And I have gone through multiple different businesses. I have started a photography business, a LuLaRoe business. I have been in sales and marketing and all kinds of things. But now, as I live my purpose as a coach for healers and coaches, I am truly living my purpose and now building a thriving, soulful business, because I have found a way to fully integrate what lights me up, like we talked about last week or last session, last module, and all of the ways that I can show up and my messages and who my dream client is and all the things that we will get to. I have found a way to bring it all together so that I am fully aligned. And that comes from my experience. And that is what I know for sure, is that you can have that very same thing. I know you can. I know that when you're living your purpose, you can build a thriving business. That is my message. So that is how I want you to conceptualize your message. It's the kind of conclusion that you've come to in your life and something that you want to share with others from your experience. Now, I want to tell you a little story about one of my friends who came to me at one point. We were on Clubhouse and she said, Jessica, I don't know how to share my story. I feel so overwhelmed. I'm supposed to, get on this stage and share all the things about my story, but I have so many facets, so many pieces of my story. Do you relate? We have many lifetimes of stories that we can tell. But what I suggested to her that day was start with your message. Start with what in that moment that you're sharing with somebody, what do you want to convey in that moment? what is your purpose to share what in that moment? And once you determine that message for that moment, then you give a little snippet of the story that you have that supports that message. It allows you to stay focused on that one message and the story that supports it. So your story is told in pieces and not in this. You don't start with your story, you start with your message. So let me give you a couple of examples of some coaches. So we have Ashley. Ashley is an amazing super mom of 6. And her message, one of her messages is, you don't have to always be in a state of overwhelm as a mom. Instead of saying there is not enough time, I believe, this is where you can tell it's a message, I believe that time can be a tool and a blessing. Ashley, she starts with this message, and then she has a supporting story that supports this message. Some reason that she believes that you don't always have to be in a state of overwhelm, that you can make time a tool and a blessing. So it is her job to then convey why she believes that through her messages over time. But we'll get there. Now let's turn to Eileen. Eileen is an incredible midlife healer, and her belief in her 60s is, please believe that there is still time for you to be all that you want to be. There is time. I heard Eileen just recently on one of our calls. She said, it's never too late. That is something you want to put on a billboard. That is something you want to shout from the rooftops, that you want to tell all of those that are in the place that you were before you believed this message. That is how you discover your message. And lastly, I would love to share with you about Ezra and this powerful moment that we had in one of our workshops a couple of months ago. Ezra was in the workshop, and I turned to him during this section and I said, Ezra, what would you want to tell those that are in the position you were in years prior to healing? Ezra struggled in the past with addiction, and he has a passion to share with those that are in the throes of that place and to show them that there is this light on the other side. And so I asked him, I said, Ezra, what would you say to that person? What would you say to them? And that's what I want you to ask yourself. And Ezra's response was,
I would tell them that it's possible to create and have the life that you thought has eluded you all these years. I would tell them that I want to say I would tell them that they did what I told them to do.
If they follow your transformation process, we are going to get there. Okay. No, right. But you know what, Ezra, that's amazing. That what you shared, and yes, it's on video, so you can, don't worry, we will write it down. That is your message. That's your message. Whew. There was probably not a dry eye in that moment, because you could feel the power behind his message. And you could feel that is what propels him to go out there and to live his purpose. Okay, so like last week, I'm going to first share with you what to do when you get to your workbook, but then I'm going to open it up in the moment for you to really reflect on a couple of questions right now so that you don't put it off and you do actually start to work on this work. So as you dive into your workbook, I want you to go deeper and deeper and really keep unpeeling those onion layers, however you say it, but peel the onion. That's it. Get closer and closer to your true, deepest messages. And I promise you that once you get to one of them, you will know it because it'll light you up. It might give you a little thing in your throat, a little tear in your eye. It's going to create an emotion in you because that is your message. And if you are having a hard time getting to those messages and you're kind of just feeling a disconnect, what I want you to do is picture your dream client. Picture that person that is in that place, like I asked Ezra, that you were in years ago, months ago, whatever that place is that you needed the most help. Ask yourself, what do I want to tell that person? So that leads me to this reflection that I would like you to ask yourself today. If you were talking to someone going through a similar journey that you went through, someone that is just at that beginning stage and they are in pain, what would you say? What would you say to them? The second question I want you to ponder as you sit here is, what feels like a very important message for you to share with the collective? What is that message that you believe you are meant to share? Those are the questions I would love for you to ponder and reflect on, journal, and I will see you in just a little bit. Welcome back. Thank you so much for working on a couple of those questions and reflecting on them in the last few minutes. I would love for you to continue to dive into that workbook. I promise you that none of this time spent working on these things is in vain. These are the important foundational pieces that you need to really build that soulful business. I promise this is the best work for you to be doing in this moment so that you can set yourself up for success. So thank you for taking the time to be here. Next module is number 3, your healing journey, which plays right into where we are today. So I'm excited to see you there in module 3. Have a good day.